Let me tell you something we don't hear enough. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's survival. Most of us have been conditioned to believe that being a good woman means giving everything we have, pouring into everyone else until we're completely empty. And then, when we're drained, exhausted, and barely holding it together, we're still expected to keep smiling, keep serving, keep sacrificing. But here's the truth. No one is going to hand you permission to take care of yourself. No one is going to suddenly stop asking for your time, your energy, your love. You have to decide right now that you're worth the investment. Think about it. If you've ever flown on a plane, what's the first safety instruction they give? In case of emergency, put your own oxygen mask on first before helping others. Why? Because if you're unconscious, you can't save anyone else. Life works the same way. If you're constantly running on empty, trying to give from a place of depletion, what you offer others isn't your best. It's scraps of what's left of you. And the people who love you most, the people who actually need you, they don't deserve a worn-out, resentful, half-alive version of you. They deserve the healthy, whole, energized version of you, and that only happens when you focus inward first. Here's where so many women get it twisted. We confuse sacrifice with strength. We think that if we just push harder, keep giving, keep proving, one day someone will finally notice and reward us for it. But life doesn't reward burnout. It doesn't honor self-neglect. It doesn't hand out blessings to those who constantly put themselves last. No, the blessings flow when you take responsibility for your own well-being, when you stop apologizing for needing rest, when you stop feeling guilty for saying no. That's when everything starts to shift. And I know some of you might be thinking, but if I focus on myself, won't I lose people? Won't they think I've changed? Maybe, and that's the point. When you start valuing yourself, when you stop letting people take advantage of your kindness, you will lose people, but only the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries. The people who are meant to stay will actually respect you more because they'll see that you respect yourself. This is survival because the alternative is slow destruction. When you keep ignoring your own needs, when you keep believing the lie that your worth is tied to how much you do for others, eventually you wake up one day and you don't even recognize yourself. You've lost your joy, your spark, your dreams. You're alive, but you're not living, and that is no way to exist. But when you start turning that energy inward, when you start asking yourself, what do I need today? What makes me feel alive? What fuels me? That's when you start rising again. You discover passions you buried. You rediscover strength you forgot you had. You start setting goals not because someone else wants them for you, but because you want them for yourself. And that energy, that confidence, that selfish-urance, it radiates. It changes how people see you. It changes how opportunities find you. So no, focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's the only way you survive long enough to thrive. It's the only way you can give your best to others. It's the only way to become the woman you were created to be. Boundaries are one of the greatest forms of self-respect you will ever practice. And here's the thing, when you start setting them, you'll realize that the people who truly value you will never be offended by them. The only ones who get upset are the ones who are benefiting from you having none. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors. They are the clear signals you send to the world that say, this is how I allow people to treat me. This is how far I'm willing to go. This is where I draw the line. Without them, you're not protecting your time, your energy, or your peace, and when those are left unprotected, you eventually feel used, overlooked, and taken for granted. Every relationship in your life is shaped by the boundaries you set. Think about it. When you say yes to everything, even when your heart screams no, you're teaching people that your feelings don't matter. When you allow constant disrespect without consequences, you're teaching people that they can keep crossing lines and you'll just adjust to it. Life has a way of reflecting back the standards you enforce. If your standard is low, people meet you there. If your standard is high, people rise to it, or they walk away, and both outcomes are a blessing. Most women hesitate to set boundaries because of fear, fear of being seen as cold, fear of disappointing someone, fear of losing a relationship. But here's the truth: without boundaries, you're not really in a relationship at all, you're in a transaction. You're giving endlessly, hoping to be valued, but real respect doesn't come from how much you give, it comes from how clearly you define your worth. Saying no isn't cruel, it's courageous. It's you choosing to value your peace over someone else's temporary approval. And I'll tell you something else. Boundaries don't push the right people away, they pull them closer. Why? Because healthy people respect healthy limits. The kind of friend, partner, or colleague you actually want in your life won't demand you stretch yourself thin just to keep them happy. They'll respect your no because they know it makes your yes even more meaningful. They'll admire your discipline because it shows strength. Boundaries don't repel the good ones, they reveal them. Let me put it like this: when you walk into a home with no doors, no locks, no rules, anyone can enter, stay as long as they want, and take whatever they please. It's chaotic. But when you walk into a home with structure, with rules, with clear access points, you know that place is cared for. It's respected, it's safe, your life works the same way. Boundaries tell others, this is a space of value, and if you want to be here, you'll need to honor it. So stop seeing boundaries as something you owe people an apology for. They are not rude, they are not mean, they are necessary. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you are saying no to something that could have grown you. Boundaries are not about keeping others out. They are about keeping yourself intact. And if you're afraid of what you'll lose by setting them, let me remind you, what you'll lose is the weight of being overextended, the exhaustion of constantly being stretched too thin, the resentment that builds every time you abandon yourself to make someone else comfortable. And what you'll gain is priceless: clarity, peace, confidence, and relationships built on mutual respect instead of silent resentment. Because the moment you draw that line, you stop teaching people how to use you and start teaching them how to value you. There's something powerful that happens when you decide to heal before you help. Too many women are trying to fix the world while bleeding themselves. They're pouring out love, energy, and support from a place that's broken, and then wondering why the results keep falling short or why the weight feels so heavy. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot offer peace when you're living in chaos. You cannot pour confidence into others while secretly battling your own insecurities. Healing first isn't selfish, it's foundational. The truth is, life has a way of exposing unhealed wounds. If you've ever noticed a cycle, attracting the same toxic friendships, repeating the same relationship mistakes, finding yourself in the same draining environments, it's not because you're unlucky. It's because pain attracts pain. Brokenness attracts brokenness. We gravitate toward what feels familiar, and until you face what's wounded inside of you, you'll keep repeating patterns that rob you of joy. But the moment you choose to pause, to stop running from yourself, and to actually work on your healing, you shift what you draw in. Peace starts meeting you. Healthier people start showing up. Better opportunities begin aligning with you. And healing isn't glamorous. It's not this perfect process where one day you wake up free. Healing looks like sitting with your pain instead of numbing it. It looks like forgiving what hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. It looks like letting go of grudges that weigh you down and choosing to move forward even when closure never came. Healing is messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's the most powerful investment you can ever make in yourself. Because when you're whole, you attract whole. Some of us have been carrying unhealed pain for so long that we've made it part of our identity. We say things like, "That's just how I am," or "I don't trust anyone," or "I'll never love again." But those are not truths, those are scars talking. And scars don't have to define you. They're proof you survived. Healing is taking back the pen and deciding that your story doesn't end in bitterness. It doesn't end in trauma. It doesn't end in shame. Your story ends in growth, in freedom, in strength. Here's what happens when you start prioritizing healing. Your standards change. You stop tolerating what you once thought was normal. You no longer chase after people who only give you half their effort. You stop settling for environments that don't respect you. Healing sharpens your vision, and suddenly you can see clearly who is for you and who is only around because of your brokenness. It's like cleaning a dirty window. Life looks different when you're no longer looking through the fog of pain. And once you've taken the time to heal, then when you give, it comes from abundance, not lack. When you show up for others, it's out of strength, not desperation. You become a safe place, not a source of more chaos. Your love becomes powerful because it's rooted in wholeness, not need. And the people around you feel that difference. They feel the depth, the calm, the stability. So if you've been running on empty, trying to help everyone else while secretly falling apart inside, it's time to stop and turn inward. Your healing is not optional, it's essential, because only when you choose to heal first can you truly help others without losing yourself in the process. Peace attracts peace, confidence attracts opportunity, wholeness attracts blessings. Energy is one of the most powerful things you carry with you. Before you say a single word, before you shake a hand, before you explain who you are, people already feel something about you. They might not even be able to put it into words, but they sense it. That's because your energy introduces you long before your mouth does. And when a woman is focused on herself, when she is grounded, healed, and centered, her energy radiates strength in a way that can't be faked. Think about the last time you walked into a room and immediately felt drawn to someone without even knowing why. They weren't the loudest. They weren't doing the most. They were simply present, confident, and comfortable in their own skin. That's energy. It's not about trying to impress. It's about carrying yourself in such a way that others can't help but notice the calm, the assurance, the focus you bring with you. That kind of presence is magnetic, and it only comes when you've done the inner work to build it. On the flip side, when you're drained, insecure, or unsettled, people pick up on that too. You can wear the nicest outfit, have the biggest smile, say all the right words, but if inside you're exhausted and anxious, that energy leaks through. You don't even have to admit it out loud. Your body language, your tone, your presence already revealed it. Energy doesn't lie. This is why focusing on yourself matters so much. When you make time to nurture your spirit, to rest, to pursue what brings you joy, you recharge your energy. And recharged energy is undeniable. It makes doors open that effort alone can't force. It attracts people who are drawn to the peace you carry. It creates opportunities because people naturally want to align themselves with someone who has clarity and confidence. You don't have to announce your worth when you're already walking in it. The woman who constantly tries to prove herself usually doesn't believe in herself yet, but the woman who is at peace with who she is. She doesn't need to chase attention, it finds her. She doesn't need to fight for validation. She already gave it to herself, and that self-assurance becomes her introduction before she ever speaks. It's also why silence can be more powerful than words. You don't always have to explain yourself. You don't always have to argue your value or defend your choices. Sometimes the quiet, steady way you carry yourself is enough to silence doubt. That's the power of energy. It doesn't need permission to speak, and it doesn't require approval to be felt. People might forget what you said, they might forget what you wore, but they will never forget how your energy made them feel. Did they feel calm around you or drained? Did they feel safe or unsettled? Did they feel uplifted or weighed down? And the answer to those questions always traces back to how much you've poured into yourself. The better you treat yourself, the stronger your energy becomes. So don't underestimate it. Your energy is your unspoken language. It tells the world how to treat you. It determines what you attract and what you repel. And the most beautiful part is, you are in control of it. Because when a woman is rooted in her own peace, she doesn't have to speak loudly to be heard. Her presence already said it all. There's a certain kind of power that comes when you learn how to stay focused and keep parts of your life quiet. Not everything needs to be shared. Not every move needs to be announced. Not every goal requires an audience. We live in a world where everyone feels pressured to broadcast their every thought, every achievement, every plan. But the truth is, the loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful one. Power is found in discipline, in silence, in the ability to keep your eyes on what matters without needing outside applause. When you're building something meaningful, distractions will come disguised as validation. People will ask, "So, what are you working on?" And sometimes the temptation is to spill it all, to share every detail, hoping for encouragement or recognition. But that can kill your momentum, because the moment you start seeking approval for your goals, you hand over power to people who were never meant to validate your vision. Some will cheer for you, but others will plant doubt, and doubt has a way of slowing you down. Silence protects you from that. Focus multiplies results in ways noise never can. When you stop chasing external validation, all that energy gets redirected into execution. Think about it. Every hour you spend explaining yourself is an hour you could have spent building yourself. Every time you pause to prove something to someone else, you're delaying what you could have proven through results. Quiet work doesn't look glamorous in the moment, but it always speaks the loudest in the end. And focus isn't just about blocking out other people. It's about training yourself. It's about choosing to sit down and work when distractions call your name. It's about sticking with the routine even when you don't feel like it. It's about saying no to shortcuts because you're committed to building something real. Consistency is magnetic. People are drawn to those who can stay committed, who don't just talk but follow through. And the woman who learns how to focus, who can sit in silence with her goals, becomes unstoppable. There's another beauty in silence. It gives you room to grow without interference. When you announce every small step, you invite opinions, and not every opinion deserves a seat in your process. Silence lets you fail privately, adjust quietly, and rise without anyone knowing how many times you stumbled. That's freedom, that's strength, because when the results finally show, no one can deny them. And let's be honest, sometimes silence isn't just protection from others, it's protection from yourself. It's easy to talk yourself into excitement, to convince yourself that speaking about a dream is the same as living it. But they're not the same. Talking creates a moment of satisfaction, but it doesn't move you forward. Silence forces you to do the actual work, and the work is what brings the blessing. So don't underestimate what happens when you choose focus over noise. Don't underestimate the quiet seasons of your life when no one sees the effort you're putting in. That's where the real transformation is happening. That's where character is built. That's where discipline is sharpened. Because at the end of the day, results don't come from being the loudest. They come from being the most consistent, and the woman who learns how to keep her head down, focus on her path, and protect her silence, she's the one who wins without ever having to announce that she was even in the race.